Dr. Surendra Chaudhary. He has done Bachelor of Ayurveda with Modern Medicine and Surgery from oldest Ayurveda college in India, Gurukul Kangri Government Ayurvedic College, Haridwar. He has PGDM in Health and Family Welfare Management, and he is retired Regional Ayurvedic and Unani Officer, Uttar Pradesh. He is presently President Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Uttar Pradesh, and Office Secretary, Central Office, Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. He is an experienced served UP government for 38 years in different positions. He had been UP government representative and the source person to many Ayush working groups. He is working as consultant to few good Ayurveda drugs manufacturing companies, and he has also participated in almost every national or international event in India as a resource person, session chair, chairman, scientific committee member, chairman, advisory committee member or chairman. And he is also a motivational speaker. He has conducted various personality and skill development residential camps for Ayurveda students. So I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So I'm the first speaker of this session?
No, sir, you are the second speaker of today's session.
Okay. So I joined late.
No,
Thank
sir.
you. And how much time you have allotted for me? So
Sir,
that I should be
1 hour.
precise.
It will be for 1 hour. And you can take as you...
It may be less than 1 hour because we can take some questions also if there are any.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I should share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, organizers and participants. And really, it's a new experience for me to have interaction other than the Ayurveda fraternity, and particularly the participants from the technical field. And I'm really thrilled to join you people also, and will express my views about Ayurveda and the integration of the information technology in the healthcare system. As I said, it's just new for me. So if there are any technical snacks or words which are not, for which I'm not used to, so just excuse me. So I'm starting with thanking you, the JSS Academy of Technical Education, to invite me as the resource person for this very new theme of your development programs. I will start with the theme of the event today, that each and every stream of education is not enough to get excellence until unless you have some in-depth knowledge of other system of sciences also. Like one of the saint of Ayurveda, or the modern age surgeons also accept, the father of surgery was the one of the non-ancient surgeon named as the Susrut. What he said once, Ekam Sastra Madhyano, it's like that. I'm not reciting the Sanskrit slok, but the main translation of that, or the gist of the slok or the saying, is that a physician who has learned one science only cannot be the master of his own science, where the Ayurveda in this context. And for this reason, the physician has to versed in many more sciences. In simple words, if I just confine my knowledge to the Ayurveda only, so I cannot be called as a good physician or the non-person of my science itself. Then I have to learn other sciences. If I cite an example of the modern medicine or the allopathic science, that is a true combination of different basic sciences. All the medicines are being drawn from the chemistry. All the modern tools being used either are the combination of physics, like the MRI or the X-rays or ultrasonography, and with the integration of information technology. So I can say, I can start today's session with these two sayings or the quotes, one from the ancient writer of the Susrut Sangita, the Acharya Susrut, which is called as the father of surgery. And another quote is from today's perspective. This is from the Jeff McGill-Conrad, the CEO of Coursera. This is his saying for today's perspective. As universities develop their own digital competencies, which started as a short-term response to the crisis, or very precisely the COVID crisis. But this crisis will likely to become the enduring digital transformation of the higher education. So it's quite obvious that what we are doing today or last 2 and 3 months, it's just because of a situation arise after out of our control, and we were forced to develop new tools to communicate in the field of healthcare or the education. So it's rightly, because you know well, Coursera is one of the pioneer company which is providing online courses for so long. If we start with the learning of digital era, so simply I divide it into two main part. One is pre-COVID era and another in the post-COVID era, or rather the during COVID era. If we look forward or go in the detail about the pre-COVID scenario, so there were a lot of online content and courses available, but they were in generalized form, or they were confined to the particular institute or the universities. I can cite two examples. My personal experience is here. Almost 4 years back, when I was visiting Australia, so I found an opportunity to visit two good universities there in Brisbane. One was the Queensland University of Technology, which the information technology department was one of the top 10 in the world. And another university was the University of Queensland, which is called as the city within a city. That is so huge. So I visited those universities and their library sections. So I was thinking that there may be some good books there, but those universities having almost 11-story complex exclusively dedicated to the library section. And each and every good journal available on the internet was there. All the books were digitalized and were issued to the students as reading in their capsules. There were so many different places to study over there. The second experience which I want to share with you is our Indian Institute, and that is Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TIS, in Mumbai. My daughter was pursuing her post-graduation there. And when I visited that institute, that was truly paperless institute, almost 4 years back or so. So, and the internet speed was really amazing, really amazing. The intranet was of more than 1 gigabyte per second speed. So these were the things which I encountered there in 2-3 years back. And yes, there were certain individual designed course for different type of sciences, like pure science, the computer science, or the chemistry, or like that. These were also available in ebooks. There were so many videos, there were podcasts, and there were some research journal available there. And the way of communication was, most of the time, there were the phone calls, or WhatsApp were used later on. And sorry, I just switched off it. And the main way of communication through video conferencing was the Skype, if you are aware about that. But now, during these COVID scenario, online classrooms or the virtual classrooms or webinars are being in regular fashion, and it's creating a lot of opportunities for our young scientists to create different type of things like new tools for communication, new tools for teaching technologies. Like we can say this era is called as the Zoom era, because even the child going just on the class one or even the KG or the UKG, they all are aware about the Zoom. The class teacher give them homework on the Zoom and they start engaging themselves. Now the scenario changed from classrooms to the virtual classroom to social media itself, because most of the webinars are being directly webcast on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or even the Twitter also. So in nutshell, it's the new beginning. And yes, of course, there are some pros and cons of each and everything. So it may be like that. So in general, the scenario can be divided again in the same. This COVID era is definitely very tough for each and every individual, not only in India but everywhere. But yes, there are some opportunities to create some new things out of this pandemic. So if we go in nutshell about the digitalization of this era, there are some pros. You can exchange your faculties very easily and very effectively on this digital learning. There were not possibilities for having me in person to the JSS campus. If I have some, I'm sitting somewhere in Chennai or in Mumbai or somewhere else, but this is the right time. You can exchange your experts anywhere from any corner of the world. So this is one of the good opportunity for these virtual classes or webinars or like that. You can create a lot of new teaching methodology, because there is some problem, particularly for those stream where practical sessions are most important, like in healthcare. So this is because of this lockdown, you cannot go to the laboratories, you cannot attend other things. So please take it as the opportunity, and you can create a lot of methodology, including the teaching methodology. By this, you can ensure the full participation of the students, because there are tools where you can take attendance or you can allow the students, and if someone is missing, so immediately you can track that. Again, there is the more positive point is that the instant access to the latest update. And I attended a few webinars. So from the classroom itself, there were 2 or 3 speakers. They were performing their minor procedural things like Agni Karma in Ayurveda, as you may not be aware of that, or the minor surgeries are being done and being direct webcast to the stakeholders. So instant access to the latest update is possible only and only through the digital learning. And it's the creativity at its best, because you are free to do any research. You can extract any sort of content from anywhere, and this creates the new opportunity for developing education management system. It may be from content to the delivery to the selection of the speakers, attendance of the students, and anyone from top management to the lower management people can take care of this, and they can keep a visual watch over there. But there are certain cons also. There are always some good things as well as the bad things. The most important negative point of digital learning is authenticity of the content, because a lot of content for all type of subjects are available on Google, but we are not aware whether the content is authentic or not. Plagiarism is there. Copy and paste is everywhere. And everyone is sharing his wisdom getting out of Google and WhatsApp University. Every day you may receive a number of forwarded messages full of knowledge, whether it is Ayurveda, whether it is computer science, whether it is a solar science, or any subject. You start with bombardment of messages, and most of the time all the messages are forwarded messages. So this is the major problem. If you guys, because you don't belong to the Ayurveda and you want to know something about Ayurveda, so that the basic and the best way is just to Google, because Google Baba is having capacity of doing anything. So you may get lot of a series of articles about the Ayurveda, but no one is serious about putting these content on the internet. There is no check until unless you go for the authentic websites where you want to extract your knowledge. Next, which is my field of concern, is that health hazards. There are lot of health hazards during this digital era. Carbon emission is one of them, and you can see how much of carbon emission can be generated after 1 hour of computer usage. Although I'm not the expert of that field, you people are from that side, but yes, carbon emission increases as we use the digital platforms. Most of the time, most of the participants, they are using their mobile phones only, whether it's a classroom or it's the webinar or the Facebook surfing or the YouTube surfing, whatever it is, they are using their mobiles. And I observe so many young students or even all the users, they even don't mind what is the level of light is coming over during that browsing. So there is a emission of blue light emission from the Android, oh sorry, on the phone screens, and it is very dangerous. It is invisible, and directly it hurts our eyes. So we will have to fall into this hazard because we are excessively using the screens. I'm not aware about the Android platform, but iOS, the Apple iPhone, for last 2 years, they're providing the screen time calculation. So any given day, we can calculate how much time we spend looking towards the screen. And again, they can categorize. This time I use Facebook, for this time to this time I use WhatsApp, and so on. So it's the blue light emission which is damaging our light and eyes, and certain good optic consultants, they are providing some glasses which prevent your blue light emissions. So this is one of the opportunity they are grabbing it. Eye fatigue, because if we glare towards anything for a longer period of time, our eye muscular or the ocular muscles became rigid or the stiff. It is quite unaware. We don't know what is happening, but after watching a screen for long, when we close our eyes, so it may have some tiredness, if you can feel that. Disorientation again. Attending so many digital or reading e-books for so long, disorientation is one of the things which I'm observing for few years. Young guys working in IT companies, they came over me. They are quite healthy. They always join gyms and like that, but they always become disoriented. Now they are speaking for this one out of the context. They go to that. So I called is the Zoom factor or the Zoom fatigue rather. So I will discuss in the later slides how we can avoid all those things. Sleeplessness. There is a quotation that in metropolitan cities, sun rises late and sun sets also late. Usually 12 in the night our sleeping time and 8 in the morning is our waking time. So it's against the nature and we have to bear it in this digital area. Another health hazard is the postural deformities, because during the lockdown you are browsing your laptop or tablets by sitting on the sofas or even lying in your bed, and you forget always, most of the time people they forget how long they are browsing in this position or in this posture. And after certain days or weeks, most of the time the cervical spondylitis is the most common disease, where you start feeling giddiness and pain in your neck. And another stressing point is your spine. So we have to try to avoid all these things. And if we have to attend a classroom of 1 hour or so, then we should in a very aerodynamic posture or on the good quality of chairs. Otherwise, our postural deformity is so silent that it can be unnoticed for years. Social distancing and art of involving social groups. Now we have a wide range of friends. Some have 5,000. I think I also have 4,500 friends. That the entire world is our friend, but we are start keeping ourselves away from the social contexts. We are keeping away from ourselves, from our cousins, from our in-laws, because we have no time to have interaction with them. So these are certain cons which I highlighted over here. If we start with our main focus about the digital or the computer or the information technology in healthcare, with specific reference to the Ayurveda. If you think about 5-6 years back, there was a mercury thermometer was being used in every clinic. And that was not possible to have a separate thermometer for each and every patient. Now there was a demand from the environmental activists that mercury should be banned in all forms. So gradually, the very first digital intervention in the healthcare was the digital thermometers. Now the thermal scanning is the word which is very common for each and everything. What is thermal scanning? What you are viewing on TVs and other thing, it is not the thermal screening. In fact, it is the infrared thermometers, which can check our body temperature from a distance using the infrared technology, and the display is digital. Proper thermal scanning is done by the thermal cameras. So these are the interventions where healthcare start embedding with the information technology. If some participants of the age of 40 or plus, if they might have any experience of going for themselves or for their relatives for any X-ray. So there was a big X-ray film. Now that has gone. Now the X-rays are being digitally captured. The image is captured on a digital plate, which is transferred to the console center of the computer. And the benefit of this technology is that the radiologist can see can enlarge or zoom up to any level, and he can find the minor changes within the organ. So these are again then ultrasonography. It is the best integration of science with the information technology, like the CT scans, the PET scans, which is very common for diagnosing of this cancers or like that. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, robotic surgery. Again, the most important intervention which can say thanks to the information technology or the digital technology. Any surgeon sitting in Houston, they can perform surgery in Noida itself, and the vice versa. In Ayurveda also, We have collaborated with certain good IT companies to develop the tools for EHR, electronic health records. Now it is the demand of the day after having such number of insurance companies coming in the healthcare, and each and everyone is being insured through private or the public sector insurance companies. So your health record cannot be written on a paper, and you cannot carry on those papers for so long. So electronic health record is the day in the need of the day, and many good companies, they are providing such type of softwares, or where you can record your health digitally. There are two parts of that. One is EHR, the electronic health record, and the EMR, electronic medical record. There is a basic difference and a very narrow difference between the health records and the medical records, because all these two are the part of our personal health records. So now the time has gone. We are keeping a lot of papers and going one doctor to other physician. He was flipping up of the papers and reading the news. Now it's common, just upload your all the health records, which is monitored in digital format. So you have just to provide the link of that data record to the physician. He can go through before you come to the doctor. Now, there are so many tools which Ayurveda is using, and online courses available for Ayurveda also. The tools for teaching and training, a number of tools are available. MOCs, you know well, National Institute of Open Schooling, IGNOU, and SWAM is one of the biggest platform which is being maintained by the government of India. Number of ebooks are available there for engineering, for high school, for secondary education, even for the healthcare. And now, present era, they provide a lot of information about the COVID-19, and all the information is authentic. Even anyone can go for that course and get themselves aware about the impact and the prevention of the COVID. Teaching methodology is one of the major boosts after including the information technology, because it disseminates the experts' knowledge, skills, and opinion, particularly in the remote area. In metropolitan cities and big universities, there are chances of having the exchange program for different experts from different countries or even from different universities. But as the education is not confined to the metros, there are certain lacking of such type of exchange program in the rural areas or the remote areas. So by intervention of a digital learning, it's very much practical just to exchange and get themselves updated with the new and the advanced development of the teaching methodology. Again, there are certain good libraries. The LibSys is a library management system, and it's a wonderful system. I think your college may be one of the member of this. Again, it's the e-Granthalaya. It's I appreciate those who nomenclate this. E-Granthalaya is again a good library where you can go for so many books, so many papers. All the research papers are there. All the research journal are there. Each and everything you want to know, it is available on e-Granthalaya. We have almost 10 lakhs Ayurveda physicians or the academicians available at present. So every day it creates a lot of data, which is not possible to keep the data manually. So data collection, what digital platform can help us, that is in data collection and data segregation. If a physician is writing so many prescriptions throughout the day, so for him it is not possible to segregate all the data manually. So digital intervention keep us very easy, and it's a very useful tool to data segregation. And again, when the data is so big, so there are so many companies who can analyze your data as per your protocol. and data analysis again, which cannot be done manually. Easy data accessibility. You can categorize your data with your own protocols and access accordingly. Data backup, again a very important thing. If you have a prescription of a doctor and you left over somewhere and you are not able to retrieve the data, but if the record is being maintained digitally, so data backup is very important. We can retrieve our details from anywhere. Imaging analysis. We have a lot of patients suffering from different diseases, for example, skin diseases. So how we can say that your progress is sufficient or you are getting good results? So we take pictures. It's the usual. Particularly in dentistry, there is a module that for each and every cosmetic dentistry, they have to take so many photographs. So it cannot be analyzed without the help of digital technology and exploration of the data. Now, there are certain software and searches tools. I'm just talking about all these things with specific reference to the Ayurveda. In healthcare, in academia, and in other research fields. So we have so many softwares and research tools being used in Ayurvedic sciences also. Ayush Grid is exclusively dedicated for the digital initiatives, keeping all the government schemes and all the initiatives knitted together. There is a Namaste portal. So Namaste is Indian name, but NAMASTE stands for each and every word is an abbreviation. So here Namaste portal is dedicated for the terminology where Ayurveda was lacking, because we have our own terminology about the disease, about the pathology, about the diagnostic measures. But there is a demand. Always, if you want to express or you want to share your views, you have to speak in the language which is acceptable or understandable to the audiences. So there was a demand that Ayurveda terminology should be in tune with the WHO terminology. So all the disease codes, international codes, they are being drafted and are linked with the WHO codings of the diseases. We have a research portal also. If you Google Ayush research portal, then you may go there. And it's again, a large number of research papers are available there. And that is being done because of the digital embedding only. You can choose the name of the drug. So you can find lot of research papers are available there. If they are available in PDF form, yes, they will show you. If they are in text only, if they're abstract or the full, whatever you need, that is there on a research portal. One more wonderful thing which Ayush Ministry did with the integration of digital technology, that is e-Samhitas. Our textbook were written in Sanskrit, and which is not so understandable, because variation of translation was a matter of concern. If I translate one slok of the Sanskrit, as per my knowledge, he may be some another may have the different views of the same thing. So what government did, they manuscript the entire text and put it on the internet in the original textual references. So we have almost 11 books which are driven as the plant-based, and 6 major books. These are available over the internet. One more thing which is very interesting to share with you people, that Banaras Hindu University, we have a very good Ayurveda faculty over there. And with the help of Ministry of Human Resource Development, MHRD, we are getting a good amount of project there. And then called is Ayurveda Network, BHU. So if you search Ayurveda Network, BHU, and on the YouTube, so they have a dedicated YouTube channel And each and every lecture is being recorded with high resolution videos, and it is in public domain, which cannot be accessed earlier. If someone is in Hassan in Karnataka and he is a good scholar of particular subject, so it was not possible the persons sitting in or living in northern India to have his views. But now, after inventing the digital platform, it's very much available in different platforms. So Ayurveda Network, BHU, they are doing wonderful work, and all the content are recorded in on video, and they are available for the public. They are available in the public domain. Few Ayurveda universities, particularly the Rajasthan Ayurveda University, they have signed a MOU with the Ayurveda network of BHU, and they are creating content on the classroom basis. There are few softwares also available. IUSoft is available for the academicians, for the physicians, and for the researchers also. I don't know whether you are aware about that there is a very peculiar form of learning in Ayurveda is Prakriti. You may have heard that वो उसकी प्रकृति बदल नहीं सकती. His nature cannot be changed. ये एक common सा words आपने अगर कभी सुना हो. So Prakriti is nothing but the cosmic nature of our body, which can never be changed. So Prakriti analysis is really tough work, and there are not so much experts who can analyze your Prakriti well. But now, after tremendous research and work and integration of a digital platform, CCRS, Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Sciences, they create a tool where physician can measure your Prakriti or estimate your Prakriti in a very authentic way. And all the data goes to their server, where artificial intelligence analyzes data and provides some insight of the Prakriti. Although it is in a beta form version, but very soon it will be available for each and every physician. Again, you may be aware about the वैद्य जी हाथ देखते हैं, नाड़ी देखते हैं, the pulse reading. Yes, pulse reading is one of the diagnostic tool, but if ECG is there, which can know your heart's basic functions, so on the same pattern, Nadi Tarangani and Veda Pulse is from the Russian scientist, and Nadi Tarangani is an Indian innovation, where we are able to monitor your Nadi Pariksha or the pulse reading through a machine, which sends all the data to the server, and artificial intelligence, they created actual status of your Prakriti and the disease level or disease pattern during that analysis. Again, Dhara, DHARA, the digital helpline of Ayurveda research articles. This is the portal where if anything is published in either way, electronically or otherwise, that is available on this platform. You can go there and you can access lot of information about the Ayurveda. Again, there are certain good things which government take care of it. There are also some plant-based authentic web portals like the Envis, where we can get authentic information about any plant. I just missed that telemedicine again is one of the thing which is available for Ayurvedic also. There are some good apps developed by the government of India. Now this Arogya Setu, everyone is aware about the Arogya Setu, which is now compulsory for certain department to enter. Although it's a pass for entry. If you don't have Arogya Setu app within your mobile app, you cannot enter in any office. There are certain regulations, and it is a good one. It's updated. It's a dynamic software. You can access your health, whether you are suffering from COVID type symptoms or not. And even it's good to locate certain infected patients in a periphery of 500 meters to 10 kilometers radius, so you can go for that. Ayush Sanjeevani app is exclusively for Ayurveda physicians as well as the public population, because you might have some common remedies or available kitchen remedies for any certain diseases, for example, coryza, cough, sneezing. So government is providing opportunity for you people also. If you have ever in your life feel that you were cured or getting good results or improvement in your morbidity after taking any Ayurvedic protocol, whether it be combination of tulsi, combination of black pepper or the ginger or whatever it is. So it's an opportunity for the general public to share their views or their experiences or the feedback to the government of India. And the government of India Ministry of Ayush, they targeted to collect the data from the 50 lakh physicians and general public, which may be the largest ever population sampling in anywhere in the world. Again, the UP government, they launched this Ayush Kavach. And Ayush Sanjeevani is available on both the platform, Android as well as this iPhone. But Ayush Kavach is only available for Android. And it's again the very dynamic. Every day they go live for the yoga session, and they have the very specific remedies. And this app also have a number of telemedicine experts. If you want to ask some questions, if you want to consult some doctors, they are available over there. So this can be happen only on type of things. Again, these are common things. M-Parivahan is available. DigiLocker, we can keep our important documents on the cloud itself. And DigiLocker, again, Government of India developed it. And iGOT. iGOT is a training module or lot of particularly was made for the iGOT embedded with the Diksha portal. So it was mainly developed for the up to the secondary education level. There are full CBSE courses there, but now with the demand of that day, they integrate the COVID related things also, or the physicians also. There are courses for physicians also. Umang, again, Umang is the newest platform of mobile applications developed by the Government of India, where all the services are integrated. So whenever you find time, you just go through all these things. I think I missed some slides anyway. There were a few slides which I missed somewhere, that how we can integrate this learning in our academics. As Ayurveda books were written 1,000 years back, so these were not available in digital format or the e-books. But now we are able to create a lot of e-books on our self. And teaching methodology, particularly the research methodology, we are using all the modern tools for research methodology. And the results are definitely very promising, that Ayurveda is going slowly towards the digital era. And lot of personal softwares are being used by the physicians. And it's the saying, the new quote, which I want to share with you people: my health is my responsibility. In this era of so deadly virus is around us. So it's our slogan, my health is my responsibility. What it means? You can say that, yes, it's my responsibility. But my dear friends, it's not so. If you are working in multinational companies, you are insured. And if you have any ailment, even commonest one, if you have headache, you will go to the corporate hospitals. You may get good consultancy, but the entire money is being paid by the insurance company. So your health is not your responsibility. The health insurance companies or your multinational companies is taken care of your health. So please take care of this one. My health is my responsibility. I don't want to take care of others. If yes, if I'm critical, of course, it's our fundamental right. If I'm paying for some premium, that they will pay my expenditure. But if we keep it in mind that I'm not, my health is not the responsibility of my company or the insurance company. That is my responsibility. And for that, please adopt Ayurveda, stay healthy. And mind it, Ayurveda is not the means of taking elaichi or haldi. It's beyond that. So always consult an Ayurveda physician. And before consulting, there is a lot of things which can keep you away from any physician, irrespective of which pathy you belong to or you want to. And adopt Ayurveda lifestyle. You will surprise if you go somewhere to read Ayurvedic books. All the major Ayurveda textbooks, they never start with a protocol of treating someone. Entire first part of each and every classical big books, they are completely dedicated for the prevention only. How you should take food, how much food should be taken, at what time food should be taken, what type of rest you need, how much time of sleep you must have. All these things are so beautifully explained in our textbooks. But this is our failure. We cannot, we are not able to deliver in that way that most of the people, they start following Ayurveda lifestyle. So all responsibility is ours, in fact. So it's all about my today's things of saying. I'm not sure whether I deliver something or not. Now, ball is in your courts, and I'm open for any query if there is any.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was so wonderful and enlightening session. And now I would like to take few questions which are raised by our participants. Uh, Dr. Rajashekhara, he has asked, sir, could you please explain cloud-based Ayush EHR? Does it contain any prescription for COVID-19?
Yes, a very good question for the present situation. As you may be aware or you may not be aware that if there is any pandemic, the boss of the day are two. One is district magistrate and another one is the chief medical officer. And all the directions and guidelines are being by the ICMR, irrespective of which pathy we belongs to. Our boss is these two people. So right now we don't have cloud-based storage of this situation or the treatment protocol. But yes, we are following in 5 hospitals exclusively COVID treatment is being done by the Ayurveda protocol. And all the data is being kept as per the ICMR guidelines. Yes, of course, iCloud, we have just Prakriti analysis tool, we have that iCloud. And certain government research centers, with 37 research centers across the India, their data is based on clouds.
Okay, sir. Next question from Dr. Madhu Chandadas. He's asking how, or he's saying that put some light on Arogya Setu app.
Okay. Arogya Setu is a generalized form of application where are certain questions which can be identified you whether you are sick or not. They are very basic things. And you know better than me that it is a Bluetooth enabled or device which can be accessed by anyone. If we are having this, if we having this Arogya Setu and we are healthy after completion of all the tests which are provided over there, and if we go any common places and anyone is suffering from the COVID-like symptoms, so immediately there are possibilities and there are examples where the proximity of that positive patients then goes to the nearby control center, and immediately they are advised to keep away, and contact tracing is started. So this is the beauty of this Arogya Setu app. And this app should be, we must evaluate ourselves after every 3 days, at least after every 3 days. So we may be in a position, it's not a diagnostic tool, it's a self-assessment tool, in fact. But yes, if we have some cough, what type of cough, we have headache, our temperature is raised, then we have to put it, and the control room will definitely contact you. There are so many examples where control room called back.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Now, next question from Gunjan Srivastava from JSS only. She is asking, are immunity enhancer medicine helpful to prevent yourself from coronavirus?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. I can cite a very basic example. If you are living in a society and you have to go abroad for 3 months or so, what you prepare? You keep all your valuable in the bank lockers, the immunity against the theft. Again, you lock your apartment with set of locks. Again, it is the immunity again any entire theft or like that. Then you notify your society in charge that we will be away from this period to that period. So just please keep visual eye on our belongings. So these tools are just to keep ourselves away from any untoward incidents. Likewise, virus like COVID or any virus, we don't have any medicine against the virus. Whether it is a common cold virus, yes, with the due course of time, we can develop some vaccines against the virus. And as you know, vaccines are the live viruses. So right now, we don't have anything against the COVID-19, but if you increase our fighting capability of the body, so it is possible to avoid any infection, whether it is COVID-like infection or any other infection. Because there is a sample survey that when any type of virus attack, a mild virus attack is prevailing, like I flu. So there are examples in a house of 6 members, only 2 or 3 suffers that problem. Why? Because they are prone and others have the immunity against that particular virus. So but sorry to say, immunity cannot be purchased in a capsule, and it cannot be built within 3 months or 3 hours or 3 days. No. And there are 2 types of immunity as per the Ayurveda perspective. One is natural immunity against anything within our body. Another one is which we can acquire out of making some, taking some medicines or making some habit, food habit changes. So like that, if we take some immunity boosting like Giloy or the Kali Mirch, Dalchini, which is the Ayush Ministry advice, I'm not naming any particular thing. Yes, by making these things, the most important thing is that our digestive power increases. When our digestive power increases, all the cells, they became strengthened, and there is a lot of proven mechanism where immunity can be enhanced, but not with a single dose of any medicine. You have to take it for a longer period of time and longer period of time. We, as a stakeholder of one NGO, Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, we distributed 1 lakh 50 gram pouches of a decoction throughout India, 1 lakh. And we are collecting the feedback, how you are feeling. Right now, I'm also taking that medicine for last 2 months. And I'm 65 with the blessing of you people like young participants. I'm fine and fit. So yes, there are evidences, there are scientific evidences that by taking certain drugs which enhance your immunity. How immunity enhances, it's a long discussion, and we can discuss it later anytime. I think tomorrow in one of our younger researcher is on your panel also, Dr. Gaurav Full. He will explain certain things in that way. But yes, if we found an opportunity to have another interactive session on how immunity works, so I will be happy to have that.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Next question from Hanumant Rao from JSS Academy only. He is asking, in the post-COVID era, can the Ayurveda treatment is done through online?
Yes, it's a very relevant question because telemedicine instructions, the guideline has been released by the Ministry of Ayush also, as well as the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The only thing is that the way of diagnosis as per Ayurveda, the simplest way are the three things: darshan, sparshan, and prasan. Means examining patients physically, then having some touch and some questions. So through telemedicine, we can do two things. We can see each other through video conference. We can ask questions, but the major part, which is inspection, is just missing in any kind of telemedicine. Yes, we have created some protocols. I'm also doing nowadays this online consultancy or the over the WhatsApp or um, on any media video platform. So there is a problem, Hanumantraoji. Suppose you have pain in your right flank. So as a physician, I can touch that area. I can evaluate the surrounding organs, how they are affected, whether they are swollen or tenderness is there or not. This, that part cannot be included in any telemedicines. But yes, Ayurveda, they are doing, they are ready to take this opportunity after COVID or the post-COVID era. And it may create a new type of tools to examine patients also. But examining patient in person, again, it's not only for Ayurveda, it's for every physician. Because personal interaction or inspection, including this stethoscope, use of stethoscope, we cannot access how your chest is behaving without ausculting yourself. So these are some limitations. But of course, Ayurveda is doing well. Even today, lot of foreign patients are taking this online consultancy.
Sir, I would like to take one more question from Mr. Borun. He is saying, what is the best time to take fruits?
To take fruits.
Fruits, yes.
Okay, fruits can be taken anytime. Fruits can be taken anytime. You can mix it with your, even in the breakfast, or there are so many people who are used to take banana with this milk in the morning itself after some doing some aerobics or like that. But as a whole, you can take fruit along with your any time of food, but start with some sweet foods and end with some astringent taste foods. It's a basic thing. So you can take fruit along with your, or in between. In between means you have taken your lunch at 2 and you are supposed to take your dinner at 8 in the night. So you can take some fruits at 4 or 4:30 or 5.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I request rest of the participants to kindly inbox your queries in our experts email ID, which will be shared with you all. Now, I would like to say thank you, sir. I'm really feeling blessed that I have listened to you today and hope same from all. And you have shared so much of information on the digital platform, e-health and all. So as in today's era, this e-learning platform has helped in continuing learning process of our students as well as all the professionals. So it was very enlightening and very informative session, sir. I would like to thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Now over
Uh,
to our HOD,
mm,
sir. I would like to invite our HOD, sir, to say a few words.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. You're audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Surendra sir. It was lovely to have with you these enlightening thoughts that you have really provoked us and given you can say all the valuable insights in this tough time that everybody is facing in the entire globe. I really thank and all the questionnaires that has been put up on the chat box by the participants as been asked by our coordinator, as asked by our member, and as asked by, you can say, all the participants were really, has given us a feeling that they were really listening to you to the full enthusiasm. It was really good to have you. And on behalf of the entire movement of JSS Academy of Technical Education Noida, I really thank you to be a part of this International Faculty Development Program. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much. And I will like to uh, have some negative remarks, if any. Just please pass on to me. And this is, I think, a second chance of having interaction other than the Ayurveda people or the fraternity. And I'm always thrilled with such type of interaction other than our own field, because it also gives me some insights to improve myself or to have some experience out of my world. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir. Thank you.
Sir, on the entire globe, I think the doctors are considered the second god. So, giving a negative feedback for a doctor is not in my you can say entire you can say I cannot even think of it. And rather, everybody will be in the same mode. And such a senior person who got retired from such a you can say high valuable by providing service to the entire nation. I don't think so that anybody will give any of that sort. And we have received feedback and pollings and all, and everybody has given rather so much of inputs and has really appreciated your talk, sir. Thank you so
In
much,
fact,
sir. Once again,
I just asked this question because it's like if I invite you talk on health, because this is not my
the,
domain on which I was supposed to deliver. And thank you
that
very
is
much.
the beauty. That is the beauty of a senior person. That senior person indulge themselves in any type of a topic.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you
thank
so.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Have a
So,
great day, sir.
so now I'm permitted to leave.
Yes, sir. You can. You can. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So Tara ma'am, we can ask the participants to come back at 1 p.m. or it'll be 10 minutes to 1,
Yes,
12:50 around.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I request
Okay.
all, yes, I
Yeah.
request all the participants to be with us at 1 o'clock. So there will be in the afternoon session. Our speakers will be welcome in the afternoon session. So thank you so much for be there.
Tara ma'am, let them be there on the Zoom 15 minutes to 1 so that we can start at 1.
Yes. So I request all the participants to be there 15 minutes before so that we can start exactly at 1 p.m. So thanking you. Thank you so much. So we are formally taking the break, sir. क्या लगाऊं?
इसको लगा दो, ये बैठ से ये भी लगा दो।
मैंने मधु मैडम ने बोला ओवर टू यू।
क्या ऑफ करूं? अनुमंत इसको पकड़ोगे प्लीज, हेल्प करोगे? मैं खाना खाने जाऊंगी, कैसे खाऊंगी? खड़ी रहूंगी फिर फोन निकलना शुरू हो जाएगा। लैपटॉप
ये बंद हो गया ना।
लैपटॉप तो रहने देते हैं। करना है